Mini episode 953 of the FDH Lounge is brought to you by Sportsology, delivering unconventional columns and webcasts about sports, TV, music, movies, and more. Follow them on the web at sportsology.com.
The FDH Lounge. You'll want to schedule your life around it.
A long time ago, on a gloomy, wet Cleveland spring night, two men stand alone amidst the late-night drizzle. Their voices echo across the vacant station parking lot as they debate the merits of the great American radio show that have been missing for far too long. On that night, an idea was born. That idea became the FDH Lounge. Welcome to the FDH Lounge.
Welcome to FDH Lounge mini episode number 953 in our preview of NFL Championship Sunday. I'm FDH Managing Partner Rick Morris here with a look around the league and picks for each game. I was 1-2-1 last week, bringing me to 132, 124, and 8, or 51.6% on the year. With my 2-6 playoff run, I now can't make it to the profitable mark of 52.4% for my third consecutive year, at least without offering totals for the conference championship games in the Super Bowl, so I'll do that, knowing that I've got to go 6-0 to get it done. Again, during the regular season, I was 31-18-2, or 63.3% on my big three, and was 12-5, or 70.6% on my lock picks. And with my 56.3% mark in college football, this has still been my best year on the gridiron. We start with this most unlikely AFC Championship game kicking off in Foxborough for the early game on CBS. The host Patriots are making their 14th appearance on this stage, with 13 of those in the last 22 years, while the Jags are making their third, with the other times being in the 1996 and 1999 seasons, and of course the first one in their second year of existence was a loss to New England that they'll be out to avenge. Tom Coughlin coached both of those AFC runner-ups, and he's back this year as the GM. Jacksonville's getting 8.5 down from an opening 9.5. Jacksonville is 12th in our FDH power rankings, New England is first. In our FDH strength of schedule, Jacksonville is 27th, New England is 12th. In our FDH impressiveness of wins, Jacksonville is 24th, New England is first. In DVOA, Jacksonville is 8th, New England is 6th. In offensive DVOA, Jacksonville is 16th, New England is first. In offensive yardage, Jacksonville is 6th, New England is first. In defensive DVOA, Jacksonville is first, New England is 31st. In defensive yardage, Jacksonville is second, New England is 29th. Last year, the Pats became the first team to make it to Championship Sunday 6 consecutive times, and they now obviously extend that streak to 7. If they advance, they'll have a chance to win their third Super Bowl in 4 years, a feat only matched by their own franchise from 2001 to 04 and Dallas from 1992 to 95. Meanwhile, the Jaguars are trying to avoid joining the Browns at 0-3 in AFC Championship games, with only the Jets worse at 0-4. The dog covered in both of the only AFC Championship games with bigger spreads this century, San Diego getting the back door with their 2 touchdowns a decade ago against the unbeaten Patriots, and Pittsburgh laying 10 in the first AFC Championship game of the Brady-Belichick era. It seems like a lot to expect that to happen here, though. It's one thing for Blake Bortles to go Michael Petras in the 2009 NBA Eastern Conference Finals against the sloppy Steelers, who always find a way to underachieve in the Mike Tomlin era. It's another thing entirely to expect him to move his offense at will against the Belichick and Matt Patricia D. As bad as they were earlier in the year, they'll be very schematically sound against the Jacksonville offense, especially at home. In fairness, there are a few points in the Jags' favor. You know Coughlin will be involved in the game planning this week, and he's been Patriot kryptonite in Super Bowls. Also, their defense is obviously capable of the kind of pass rush that has been disruptive to Brady in his playoff losses over the years. Still, the Jags played the third weakest schedule of any team in the playoffs, and even their win over Pittsburgh may have proved less than you'd think, since the Steelers played an even weaker schedule. And that win over Pittsburgh was a weird outlier, the kind of game that you might only get 2 or 3 times if these teams played 100 games. The scenario for beating the Steelers was much the same as their earlier season win, predicated on defense instead of offense. Instead, it was a free-for-all, with Ben Roethlisberger running rampant on them. So now we're in a situation where the Jacksonville defense, the strength of the team, needs to play dramatically better at New England than they did against Pittsburgh. Does anybody really see that happening? We don't. Take New England minus 8.5 and under 46 as the defending AFC champions repeat 27-13. The late game on Fox is the real barn burner. featuring the conference's top 2 teams, squads that have never met in the NFC Championship game, but had one of them make it in back-to-back years in 2000, 2001, and 2008-09. They're also 2 of the league's long-suffering fan bases without a Super Bowl win. It's the Vikings at the Eagles, with the home team laying a field goal down from 3.5. Minnesota's 4th in our FDH Power Rankings, Philly is 7th. Minnesota's 21st in our FDH Strength of Schedule Rankings, Philly is 25th. Minnesota's 6th in our Impressiveness of Wins Index, Philly is 12th. Minnesota's 4th in DVOA, Philly is 5th. Minnesota's 5th in offensive DVOA, Philly is 8th. Minnesota's 11th in offensive yardage, Philly is 7th. Minnesota's 2nd in defensive DVOA, Philly is 5th. Minnesota's 1st in defensive yardage, Philly is 4th. Interestingly, neither team finished that highly in strength of schedule this year, and each knocked off a team this past weekend from the NFC South that had been through the meat grinder schedule-wise. Obviously, the media storyline of Case Keenum v. Nick Foles is a big deal in this game as well, but of the 2, Keenum is the more legit starter, as we've seen. Advantages at QB meant nothing in last weekend's NFC divisional games, but that's an outlier that you can't expect to keep going on. And of the 2 squads, who feels more like the team of destiny right now? The one that pulled off one of the greatest miracle finishes in NFL history to get by an incredibly tough Saints team? Or the one that was lucky to be able to have Foles dink and dunk against soft Atlanta coverage and still only manage 5 field goals? Also, consider this. There have only been 4 Super Bowls since 1993 that have matched the top seeds in both conferences. Whether or not they cover, it would be a monstrous upset for New England to lose outright. Do you really trust the Eagles to make it the 5th 1-versus-1 combo in the last quarter century? Not us. Give us the team out to play the first Super Bowl in their home stadium, covering the 3 and hitting the under in a 20-16 outcome. Thank you for tuning in to this mini episode of the FDH Lounge.
As we bring the show to a close, we would like to extend our deepest gratitude to NBC, CBS, ABC, Fox, all Clear Channel affiliates, TNT, TBS, USA, UPN, Deadspin.com, YouTube.com, YTMND.com, MySpace.com, various blogs, Fox News, CNN, CNBC, MSNBC, IamBoard.com, Billboard.com, Google.com, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN News, ESPN Classic, NBA TV, NFL Network, Sports Time Ohio, Athlon Magazine, Comedy Central, Cartoon Network, The Boomerang Channel, QVC, BET, The Spice Channel, Steno Notebooks, Manwich, Papermate Office Supplies, waitresses, strippers, bartenders, garbage men, janitors, microwave popcorn, the writers of The Office, Scrubs, Entourage, My Name is Earl, Oz, Metalocalypse and the Boondocks, Aquafina, and the Periodic Table of Elements.